Welcome to this explainer. Look, right now we're staring down a massive, trillion-dollar bottleneck in modern tech, and it all comes down to one thing: independent AI systems assurance. Today we're unpacking a really fascinating framework brought forward by Sutton Audio and Power Systems Assurance. It's specifically tailored for enterprise stability and insurance underwriters. So if you are anywhere near enterprise risk, deployment, or the underwriting of modern tech liabilities, you're definitely going to want to pay attention to this. Okay, let's just jump right into the massive problem facing the industry today. How exactly do you price the risk of an unpredictable machine? Seriously, it's a literal billion-dollar puzzle. Traditional insurance relies heavily on historical data, right? Predictable failure rates, rock-solid actuary tables, the usual stuff. But when you deploy an AI, you're deploying a deeply unpredictable system. You're dealing with software that adapts, evolves, and honestly, sometimes behaves in completely unforeseen ways. The core challenge for underwriters right now is figuring out how on earth to put an accurate price tag on that unprecedented level of variance. To truly grasp the threat landscape we're dealing with, we have to talk about the black box problem. Basically, modern AI models lack standardized oversight. What goes in and what comes out is separated by this massive, opaque web of algorithmic processing. And because we can't clearly see the internal logic, it results in unpredictable hallucinations. Those moments where the AI just confidently fabricates information out of thin air. From an underwriting perspective, that creates a terrifying Wild West. You've got zero historical baseline for the frequency or the severity of errors, which creates completely uninsurable risks. You simply can't insure what you can't measure. Which brings us to a catastrophic conflict of interest in how the industry currently handles this risk: self-attestation. Right now, risk underwriters are pretty much forced to rely on corporate internal safety reports generated by the exact same tech companies building the models. It's literally like letting a student grade their own final exam. No way that holds up. The alternative, and the only sustainable path forward, is independent forensic auditing. We're talking about objective, hard risk metrics provided by an external, independent laboratory that has absolutely zero financial stake in the success of the software.
Because deep inside that black box lies a highly specific, very hidden danger known as linguistic drift. This happens when unchecked system feedback loops gradually degrade the quality and accuracy of human-AI interactions over time. Think of it like a game of telephone, but happening at the speed of light inside a machine. It doesn't just break all at once, right? It subtly shifts and hallucinates over months of deployment. And for an enterprise, this means these systems are quietly building up massive latent errors and omissions liabilities. Essentially, they're ticking time bombs of corporate risk, where bad AI output inevitably leads to crippling lawsuits.
So who actually forces this industry to become safe and accountable? Spoiler alert, it's not the developers, it's the insurance companies. In what we call the gatekeeper strategy, insurers act as the true gatekeepers of our AI future. Without E&O coverage, enterprise companies simply cannot risk deploying these massive AI models. So by controlling the insurance policy, underwriters essentially control the entire future landscape of AI deployment.
So how do those gatekeepers actually wield that immense power? Well, first, through mandatory audits. Insurers can and should require an independent forensic check like the ones offered by SAAP before they ever issue a coverage policy. And second, through optimized premiums. By taking the stability scores generated from those independent audits, insurers can finally do their jobs accurately. They can price the liability risk for high-variance AI deployments based on hard data. This effectively creates a mandatory compliance market that financially forces developers to build safer AI.
Okay, but let's get into the science. How do you actually turn fuzzy, unpredictable behavior into hard math? SAP uses some incredible deep-tech forensic protocols for this. For example, the Normative Sentience Standard, or NSS, evaluates the system's actual systemic impact on human operators. Then, you've got interface neuroplasticity mapping, which measures that hidden weight degradation we talked about earlier to spot logic bypasses. Ultimately, all of this feeds into the Neuroplasticity Vulnerability Index, the NVI. You can think of the NVI as the magic number for insurers. It translates all those qualitative AI risks into hard, quantitative data points perfectly formatted for E&O underwriting. And this brings us to the core tool powering all of these metrics, the Glassmouth Forensic Engine. This is a proprietary system designed to perform raw linguistic triage. What it does is actually brilliant. It strips away all the emotional valence. That friendly, human-sounding conversational polish that AI uses to sound so convincing? Yeah, it strips that away to reveal the cold, raw algorithmic intent beneath. It completely ignores how the machine sounds and strictly measures what the machine is actually calculating. Now, what makes this engine uniquely suited for enterprise auditing is its architecture. First up, off-grid security. The analysis is conducted on hardened hardware with zero data leakage to public cloud infrastructure, meaning trade secrets are fully protected. Second, external forensics. It requires absolutely no access to the proprietary source code of the AI being tested. It just audits the behavioral output and the logic loops directly. And third, advanced hallucination detection. It literally maps out ghost dependencies, catching the AI in real time when it starts making up fake rules or fabricating internal files.
Adopting this kind of rigorous forensic standard goes way beyond just writing a policy today. It is completely about future-proofing. It provides regulatory alignment, establishing verifiable audit trails right now to shield insurers and enterprises from retrospective litigation when the inevitable AI regulations hit. It also ensures system hardening, providing long-term guardrails against external manipulation. And perhaps most critically for right now, it offers triage support, an immediate tactical response for AI models that are already deployed and actively experiencing catastrophic drift or semantic breakdowns.
Grounding all this fascinating science into business reality, the framework outlines a very clear, strategic set of audit tiers. If an enterprise system is currently in an active crisis, you've got the Tier 1 Tactical Rapid Triage, designed to immediately stabilize the system. For standard underwriting needs, there's the baseline forensic audit to generate that all-important risk certificate. And for insurers looking at the big picture, bulk portfolio pilots gauge aggregate stability metrics across multiple enterprise clients. It's not just a pricing menu, it's a fully scalable roadmap to systemic safety.
Ultimately, what this data and these systems reveal is a singular, absolutely undeniable truth. The future of artificial intelligence is audited. Securing algorithmic integrity isn't just some optional luxury or a neat little feature anymore. It is the fundamental reality of doing business in the next decade. If AI is going to run our critical enterprise infrastructures, it absolutely 100% must be independently verified.
The proposition laid out here is crystal clear. Moving away from developer self-attestation and utilizing an independent forensic laboratory like SAP LLC aims to set the absolute gold standard for what constitutes insurable, stable AI. It frames objective, external auditing as the mandatory step to transition from a landscape of terrifying, unknown liabilities to one of quantified, manageable risk. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one critical question to consider for your broader organizational strategy. The technology is here. The liability gap is rapidly widening, and the tools to quantify that risk actually exist now. Are you going to define the future of insurable AI and lead the market, or are you going to be the one left holding the bag, blindly carrying the unquantified liability of an unpredictable machine? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks for joining me to explore this vital topic, and as always, keep digging into the data.